Just going to do a quick sound check to make sure the sound is working. So 2 seconds. Just checking everyone can hear me. Cool. Looks like the audio is good. Alrighty, perfect. Alrighty, Merry Christmas everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks so much for all those who have completed my survey that I put out on Google Forms the other day. Really happy with that. Sorry about the short notice. I really wanted to do it about a week or so in advance, but the good news is that survey will stay up kind of indefinitely, so I can maybe do another live stream at a later date. But yeah, in 24 hours I've got 9 people responded, which is really amazing. So thank you everyone who's responded, and thanks everyone for tuning in as well. So I think I'll just go down the list of questions in the survey, and yeah, we'll kind of go from there. So quite a few people responded, so that was really fantastic. Oh, thank you so much for tuning in, KC Media. That's awesome. Thanks, mate. So yeah, let's just go down the list of questions first to answer in the Q&A. So what was your favourite Qantas flight in 2024? Probably, to be honest, my favourite Qantas flight was the flight between Melbourne and Sydney. That was when I was originally supposed to be flying on Rex. Got this crazy $99 deal, and unfortunately we all know they kind of went into the voluntary administration and whatnot. And yeah, Qantas were really good. Virgin Australia were originally the ones that had rebooked me because Rex made a deal with Virgin Australia to rebook. But then Qantas came on board the next day, and I rang up and I got through to Qantas in like 5 or 10 minutes, which was really amazing, and not like my usual experiences I've had with Qantas in the past. So yeah, that was just a really great flight. They rebooked me for free, so I essentially ended up on a Qantas A330 for the same price of $99. I didn't have to pay anything else, and yeah, it was just a really great flight. Good food, good drinks, really comfortable. It was kind of like an international style economy experience. The only downside was really the entertainment wasn't working very well, but apart from that, it was a really great flight. Really enjoyed it. Could say other really memorable Qantas flight was obviously the one to Norfolk Island. The flight itself is just such a unique flight, but to be honest, the business class service on that flight was a little bit disappointing, so that's why it's probably not the most memorable flight. But yeah, the flight from Darwin to Perth on QantasLink, that was really cool as well. Really enjoyed that. That was really good service. Sorry, just steadying up the gimbal. What was your best and worst airport experience? Luckily, it didn't miss any flights or anything like that. So probably the only real hectic experience I had, the slight near miss per se, was the very first flight of the year when I was flying Jetstar over to Adelaide on the A321neo. I was having a good time in the Qantas Club, and the screen said that the flight wasn't boarding yet. So I left when the screen said it was ready for board, and then by the time I got over to the Jetstar departure area, basically I was the last one to board, and they were announcing me to board the plane. So yeah, don't always trust the departure signs per se. But yeah, it was all good in the end. I was the last one on the plane. A little bit embarrassing, but that's okay. My best airport experience, probably the Norfolk Island airport. Flying internationally from Norfolk Island to Auckland, New Zealand on Air Chathams. It's just such a unique airport at Norfolk Island. It only serves a couple flights a week, really. to Brisbane, Sydney, and then also Auckland. So yeah, it was just a really unusual experience. Literally a 1 kilometre walk from where I was staying, and yeah, you could check in for the flight and basically go back into town or go to the cafe across the road. Yeah, just a really cool experience. Also really good for plane spotting as well. Really good area up the front. So yeah, just a really fun experience in Norfolk Island. But yeah, Changi Airport's always one of the most amazing airports for travelling around. So definitely been through Changi a few times this year, both T1 and T4. So they were really good experiences. And yeah, in general, Perth Airport, my main airport, always been great experiences. New Zealand, and have or ever you'll come back to Taronga. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Yeah, absolutely. We'll go back to Taronga one day. It's a really lovely city there, seaside city. I believe it's one of the fastest growing cities in New Zealand actually. So yeah, I can see why people want to live there. It's a really nice place. But yeah, I've been in New Zealand so many times now. Really like all areas of New Zealand. Probably do still prefer the South Island, but yeah, New Zealand's a place that kind of depends on the season as well. I'd prefer to be in Queenstown, you know, in winter, for example, and on the North Island in the Bay Islands in summer. But yeah, New Zealand's a very chill country, very easy place to visit. I'd have no hesitation in recommending visiting anywhere in New Zealand, really. Just going to get that poll out of the way. That looks a bit better. What has been your favourite airline to fly with? There's certainly many of them. Probably, yeah, the most unique flight I took this year probably undoubtedly was the Air Chatham's. Just such a unique experience to fly the ATR 72 on an international flight per se, so that was really cool. But yeah, in general, I really quite like the Asian carriers, especially ones from Japan. Have flown ANA to Tokyo before I had the channel. Also the carriers from Taiwan, EVA, China Airlines, always had really good experiences. That certainly included that flight from Auckland to Brisbane earlier in the year. And yeah, I have flown Emirates, flown Singapore Airlines, done all that before as well. So I just got stuff going on in the backyard at the moment. So what travel plans do I have for 2025? Well, are going to Launceston in a couple of weeks' time. Then also going to Melbourne as well. So really looking forward to that. About a week or so at the Australian Open. Then I'll do the usual thing where I'll probably travel around Australia a bit, do some train reviews, flight reviews, all that sort of stuff over the Australian summer as I usually do. But yeah, do want to do some sort of international trip out of Australia while I'm on the East Coast as well. So I'm really looking at the possibility of doing Hawaii. That would be a real fun experience, I reckon. Maybe I can fly on Qantas points out of Sydney. Might be able to fly JetSetter as well. That could be a really cheap way of doing it. Yeah, really do want to go island hopping around Hawaii. That would be a lot of fun early in the new year. And then yeah, definitely want to do a proper major trip next year. Definitely either want to go back to Europe or North America. One of those two would constitute a big trip. Done about 5 or 6 of them before I had the channel actually. 3 big trips of Europe. Pretty well been everywhere from Barcelona to Moscow, all the Balkans, all the Scandinavian countries, Central Europe. Pretty well done it all. So definitely want to go back to Europe. Thanks very much for tuning in there, mate. Thanks so much for being a subscriber as well. Much appreciated. But yeah, with Europe, there's just a few countries that I haven't been to, a few outlier countries per se. So I want to go to Iceland. Haven't actually been to Portugal, so that would be really amazing. And yeah, been to quite a few countries in Eastern Europe, but yeah, there's still a few like Romania, that sort of stuff I want to go to. So yeah, either a big Europe trip again, or a big North American trip. If I went to North America, I'd probably focus kind of on some of the states I haven't been to before. Also go to parts of Canada I haven't been to before, or have been to Canada but haven't really done British Columbia per se outside of Vancouver. So yeah, really would want to kind of do coast to coast in Canada. That would be really cool. But yeah, there's a few places in America I really want to go to as well. Alaska, that's a place I've been really longing to go. So that would be really good. So maybe next year can be the year where I do kind of the outlier states of the America, the non lower states, you know, Hawaii, Alaska. Haven't been to Florida. That would be a cool one to go to. Thanks very much for tuning in, James Johnson. Much appreciated, mate. The other one, keen on covering the Portugal to Singapore train journey in 2025. Well, I know who suggested this one. It was actually a few mates I was having a few drinks with, long-term mates, last weekend actually. I think it's a really fantastic idea. I think it must be like a combination of train journeys, obviously to go all the way from Portugal to Singapore, but I think it goes all across Europe, must somehow go over Ukraine and into Russia. I think it goes all the way over to China, and then it comes down through Southeast Asia. So that would be a really cool itinerary. Would require a bit of effort and planning, you know, with visas and the security situation and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, definitely be a really cool trip to do one day indeed. So certainly not ruling it out whatsoever. But yeah, I should have probably, when I put in, for people to put in questions, I had two separate questions, one to leave your name and your location, and then one to leave your questions. But I should have put them together so I know who asked each question. But yeah, people who have asked questions, Jeremy from Perth, James from Perth, Levi from Adelaide. Pretty sure I know your channel. I think it was Qantas One. I think it's called Levi Aviation or saying now. So yeah, really great upcoming channel there, mate. Much appreciated for tuning in. Noah from Taronga in New Zealand. I guess you might have asked a question about Taronga, so thank you very much, mate. That was actually a very successful walking tour I did in Taronga, about 5,000 views. Alila, pretty sure you're the Aussie airline fan, so another big fan of my channel, and yeah, really keen supporter of your upcoming channel and your work as well. So thanks so much, mate, for being a really long-term supporter this year. And yeah, Nathan from Sydney, thanks so much for also filling in the survey. There's possibly 3 or 4 people more that have filled in the survey as well who haven't left their names. So big thank you to you guys. You know who you are. So now I'll just go over the statistics. How long have you been a viewer of the channel? I had 4 options there. It looks like the majority of the people have known the channel for 1 to 2 years. That's really when the channel's really taken off. 22.2% have known it for over 2 years, so basically the get-go. Much appreciated. And then a few people are knowing it 6 months to a year. So yeah, really good that new people are continually finding the channel. Are you a subscriber of the channel? 9 responses, 9 people said yes, so big huge thank you to all you guys. Age, looks like the majority of the people are under 18, so good to see young interest in Aussie aviation. And yeah, the rest of the people are 18 to 39, so no real surprise there. But yeah, I do definitely have an older audience out there. There definitely is people out there of the older age, or retiree age, so much appreciated you guys as well for tuning in. Glad I catered to a wide audience. That's really good. How did you find out about the channel? through YouTube recommendations, that seems to be the most likely one. So yeah, it's good that YouTube are pushing some of the content out there. That's really how you get the views on YouTube. So that's good. But yeah, 22.2% of people do see it from the results of YouTube or Google search. So yeah, it's good that people are seeing it in the search content. Word of mouth, a few people have said that as well, so it's good that the word's getting out there. And yeah, a few people have seen it directly through my website, AussieJetSetter.com, so that's fantastic. How frequently do you watch my content? 44.4% watch it pretty well every video that comes out, so that's great. And then most people see it at least once or twice every month or so, so really good. Country of residence. 6 of the respondents said Australia, 1 said New Zealand, and 1 said Perth. Not quite sure Perth is a country. Maybe if we didn't reluctantly in the end vote to join the Federation, we might have been our own country out here in West Australia. But yeah, anyway, that's a story for another time. If I was to do one major overseas trip this year, what would you like to see most featured on the channel? It's pretty split, really. Europe 33.3%, North America 11%, Northeast Asia, that's your Japans, your Koreas, maybe your China, etc. 11%. Southern Africa, there's interest there as well, and there is also interest for other. So people are keen to see travel from all over the place, so good to see. Now, if I was to do one major trip next year, that means probably I'll do a few shorter trips as well. Easy enough to do from Perth. So where would you like me to most see? Once again, pretty even response there. Hawaii seems to be the leading location, so hopefully I can do that around about January, so that would be really good. And then yeah, you've got your Indonesias, your Vietnams, Japan, Korea. I'm hopeful I can visit all those destinations next year actually. Probably tick a few of them off in the one trip. So yeah, they're definitely essentially my target countries for, you know, more in detailed country traveling, you know. Obviously if you go to Europe or something like that, it's a bit more of a whirlwind throughout different countries. But yeah, the good thing about Asia is a lot of those countries are a lot cheaper. You know, I went to Sri Lanka last year, spent 2 weeks there, and yeah, you really just get to dive deep into the country, you know, get to enjoy it all for what it is. So yeah, they're all the target countries. Even I should be going back to Bali, haven't been there for over 10 years, so that would be a nice easy trip to do as well. What should I use my considerable balance of Qantas points for? I think I've got about 108,000 or so at the moment, so pretty well got enough for Qantas business class, Sydney to LA, Sydney to San Fran, saying like that. So that kind of be like a holy grail of a redemption for me realistically per se, but it is pretty hard to get availability. So the other one you could do, it's actually pretty easy to get availability, is first class Emirates Sydney to Christchurch. I think it's about 62,000 or something, maybe about 200 tax or something like that. I know it's ridiculously excessive, but you'd just be doing it for the outrageous experience, you know. You also get to check out the Qantas First Lounge in Sydney and all that sort of stuff. So that's an option. You could just do it for the sake of the experience and for the sake of the channel per se. But yeah, to now, really, I've always just used my Qantas points for flights that are realistically attainable, easy at the last minute. So I've always used them just for short haul domestic flights, coast to coast flights, short international flights as well. That's the beauty of Qantas points, you know. We're balanced at like 100,000 points. You're never going to run out of points if you're just going Perth to Melbourne, 18,000 points. Perth to Kalgoorlie, 8,000 points, saying like that. That does make the travel a lot more affordable. You know, last year I needed a flight at the last minute between Darwin and Perth. 18,000 points, $30 easy, booked day before, you know. Obviously, if I use all my points on a long haul business class flight, you know, I'll use them all in one go, but obviously it'll be ultimately the best value for it, you know. So it's just a bit of a juggling act. But yeah, I do think I want to take the plunge and do something really special for them, with them for a change, you know. So yeah, I'm definitely thinking of using the points to go to the States. The reality is the easy option at the moment is 32,000 points to fly Qantas to Honolulu from Sydney or Brisbane, I think it is. So that might be what I'll be doing in the short term. I won't be a massive dent to the balance, so I should be able to rebuild them up and do a proper flight to LA or something later on. But yeah, you've got other partner airlines as well. Like in theory, I could use them Perth to KL in business class. With Malaysia Airlines, I think it's about 55, 60,000. So that would be like obviously I'd want to use it on a wide body flight, so it'd be better use of points. Obviously I could fly the A330 business class with Qantas to Singapore. That would be a good way to try out more of a longer haul business class product, you know, not just the usual recliner business class flights that I do. Could probably even use them on Cathay Pacific to Hong Kong, I think. Possibly also on Emirates to Dubai, but the availability is not that good. So plenty of options. I used Qantas points on Emirates from Melbourne to Singapore earlier in the year. I thought that was a pretty good experience. So yeah, I'm just going to keep building the Qantas points and yeah, see where it will take me in 2025. Are you interested in videos that incorporate the use of my drone in 2025? Looks like 90% of you guys are keen. I certainly are as well. Literally got this drone like a year ago and barely used it. It's very easy to fly this DJI Mini SE2. Yeah, really want to start incorporating it into some of my videos or my nature hiking videos, that sort of stuff. You do technically have to get some sort of license if you're using it for commercial purposes, which strictly speaking YouTube is, so I would need to get that arranged, but I think it is free, so just got to get that sorted to make sure it's all above board. But yeah, definitely want to do that in 2025. Just got to get it sorted properly, you know. Going forward, would you prefer shorter flight and train reviews? So by this I mean, you know, most of the similar aviation travel channels out there, the flight reviews are like 15, 20 minutes. Like, I reckon my flight reviews are probably twice as long on average. And then, you know, if I do a train review, they can be like an hour long, you know, like the Prospector or the Overland or something like that. I personally like, you know, capturing all the scenery if it's obviously a daytime journey. Really like going over things in detail. But yeah, the way it's going, the short and sweet seems to be what the style people like. So looks like it's pretty split. 44% are happy with the way it is and 33.3% want the shorter content. So I think I just got to get a balancing act there. I think I will be trying to streamline the videos a little bit more in 2025. Also, it's very time consuming making very long videos, so if I get them a little bit shorter, it's just going to make it so much easier in editing and production and all that sort of stuff. Also want to spend some time, you know, over the summer holiday period, just kind of stockpiling all my resources and that sort of stuff. So when it does come to editing the videos, it's a lot more modular. You know, I've got the right music there. I've got the right elements to put into the review, all that sort of stuff. Just make it a lot quicker to edit. And yeah, at the moment I go on a trip and I simply don't have time to do any editing until I get home. So it'd be good to do some editing on the go, you know, get videos out in a more timely fashion. So we'll see where that takes us, but yeah. Alrighty, thanks for your comments, guys. What are your other passions outside of aviations and trains? Obviously the other aspects of my channel, I'm the sort of person, I don't just film the flight reviews for the sake of filming the flight reviews per se. I do it because I generally enjoy it, you know, it's my passion per se, and I'm not implying that anyone else who does do that doesn't enjoy it. But, you know, when I travel, I like to actually going there to see the destination as well, you know. I'm just reviewing the flight along the way or the train trip along the way. And then when I'm there, you know, I'm going to film a walking tour. I'm going to film other destination content. That way, when I do the trips, you know, it gives me lots of content, and it makes it, for someone who, you know, doesn't necessarily have the time or the resources or the finances to be flying every single weekend and to be producing flight reviews every single weekend. For me, it's simply unrealistic. So, you know, getting the walking tours, getting some hiking stuff, driving stuff, plane spotting, just makes the channel a lot more balanced for me. That's why I like to do it. But yeah, outside the channel, really do like my sports, big tennis fan. Go to the Australian Open every year for a week or so, so I'll be doing that once again. Yeah, like my cricket, like my footy. Yeah, big into the sports, and yeah, obviously big into the travels. What state or territory of Australia do you want to see most with new content? Originally, New South Wales was leading, but now it seems to be a tie with South Australia. But yeah, it's a bit of a state of origin here, so there's interest in all the states, really. Yeah, New South Wales is a state that I have probably under-featured on the channel. You know, I used to live in Canberra, which is obviously ACT, but I lived there for a year and a half. And I used to travel around the neighbouring New South Wales quite a lot, you know, the Snowy Mountains region, up to the ski resort areas, even though I don't actually ski, down to the south coast of New South Wales, Bateman's Bay is really beautiful. So absolutely I could feature more content in New South Wales. I've been in Newcastle before, so if I was going to Sydney again next year, I'd probably try and do the train review to up to Newcastle. But yeah, definitely do some more train reviews in New South Wales in general. Definitely want to get the XPT per se from Melbourne to Sydney. Actually, that would be really amazing. Other area in New South Wales I've been is up to the Byron Bay and the Northern Rivers area. Absolute beautiful part of the country. That's about 5 years or so ago I did that trip. So definitely could see myself getting on a cheap $29 Jetstar flight up to Ballina and, you know, having a look, doing some stuff around Byron Bay again. So definitely potential on the channel, absolutely. Really, I've just featured around Sydney at the moment, but yeah, definitely feature more New South Wales. And yeah, South Australia, that's another state. Out of all the states in Australia, South Australia really is a place I've actually visited the least. I think I've been to Adelaide 3 times. Basically, I've travelled no further than about Mount Gambier, which is about 30-40 kilometres from Adelaide. Well, I did do the overland earlier in the year from Adelaide to Melbourne, so I did get a bit of a glimpse of the countryside. So that It was really good. I think I meant to say Mount Barker before, not Mount Gambier. Might have gone through Mount Gambier on the train on the way to Melbourne, but yeah, definitely South Australia. My plans for South Australia are more tied long term. I actually want to do a road trip across the country from Perth across to Victoria. Was meaning to do it just after the pandemic, but it just kept getting put off and put off. But yeah, that road trip would be absolutely epic. I'd drive across the country, feature it on the channel, would be some amazing driving content. Drive across the Nullarbor, all the way from Norseman to Ceduna. That would be like an epic, drive day across the Nullarbor, 12, 15 hours, whatnot. And then, yeah, I'd feature South Australia, Port Augusta. I'd love to go to Flinders Ranges National Park. That would be really cool. And yeah, obviously I'd drive the Great Ocean Road all the way over to Geelong and eventually Melbourne. And then, yeah, I could do the Great Alpine Road as well to feature more of New South Wales. That would be really cool. But yeah, Queensland, absolutely longing to do the Spirit of Queensland. You can get the sleeper it's not like the XPT, it's like a business class style sleeper seat. I think it's $399. You really do have to book it in advance, but that would be a really fun experience. Go all the way from Brisbane to Cairns. May do it next year, but eventually do want to do it. And yeah, there's some amazing train trips you can do in Queensland. Just look at Rory Ding Travels, the Westlander, and all the way out of Mount Isa, and there'd be some epic train trips you could do there. So really want to do that. And yeah, ACT, no shortage of stuff I could do from the ACT with hiking and great outdoors. Because I live there, I know about that area. Some amazing natural attractions and national parks in the ACT. Tassie, I did a road trip around Tassie a few years ago, so absolutely, it's a beautiful part of Australia, such a unique destination. Absolutely love Tassie. But yeah, I'm going to Launceston for 2 days, actually getting the direct flight from Perth to Launceston. Got this ridiculous business class fare for $549. The economy class fare was $769 or something. So I don't know if it was an error or it was actually a genuine price. There was more demand for economy than business class, but really looking forward to that. That's on the 737-700. Very few people actually would realise there's I think it's a seasonal flight between Perth and Launceston, only a couple times per week. There's also flights from Perth to Hobart. That'll be really good. Did want to get the Spirit of Tasmania from Devonport to Geelong. That was $280 just for a seat. So I'm going to give that a miss this time, but definitely want to do it sometime when I get a cheaper deal. But the upside of that is I'm flying the A220, the Qantas link, for the very first time between Launceston and Melbourne. So that should be a cracker review. Late to the game here in the West, as always. But yeah, that will be really fun. But yeah, when I'm in Launceston, visit the Cataract Gorge, all that sort of stuff. It's a really nice city, actually. Might even get out of Cradle Mountain again on a day trip or something. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, Northern Territory, absolutely love Darwin. Could definitely go there again, but yeah, got to go to the Red Centre one time. That's really the only part of Australia geographically I haven't been to yet. So yeah, maybe I try the Air North Perth to Alice Springs flight. That would be a unique one to try. Or maybe I just get a cheap Jetstar flight to Ayers Rock, Uluru from Melbourne or something like that. That would be really cool. And then we've got the Victoria. Obviously I'm going to Melbourne again for a week or so. So yeah, maybe I'll try and somehow get out on the Great Ocean Road or something while I'm there, go to Torquay or something like that. That would be really cool. But yeah, I'd definitely try and do at least one V-Line train review while I'm in Melbourne. They're very easy to do actually, because it's capped price at $10 a day on V-Line. So you can travel out to Bendigo or Ballarat or whatnot for the day, or you can even, in theory, do a Rory Ding and do every single V-Line service in a day. It only costs you $10 or whatever. So that's a fun thing about V-Line in Victoria. So maybe I'll try and review a locomotive old train this time, not the usual Velocity, but maybe go out to Warrnambool or something like that. And then you've got the external territories. I've already been to Norfolk Island. Very happy I ticked that one off the list. It's absolute paradise. Such a unique place, so much history, such a good vibe to it, Norfolk Island. Absolutely love it. But yeah, that means I still want to go to Christmas Island, Cocos Island, so that's kind of like the last frontier, I think. So definitely want to go there sometime, get on a Perth to Christmas flight or something like that. That would be a good one. Not sure if I'll be able to fit in next year, but you never know. Definitely on the agenda sooner or later. Are you interested in hotel and resort reviews becoming a regular feature of the channel? Everyone said yes, 100%. Basically, I've been filming, certainly not like a flip-flop traveller style high-end sort of review of hotels and resorts, but pretty well everywhere I've stayed, unless it's a real budgety sort of place in a country town, which there's not much value in reviewing. Basically, I've done impromptu reviews of all the hotels and places I've stayed at along the way over the last few years, with the purpose of potentially releasing them as reviews later on. So that's actually what I was thinking of doing, perhaps over the month of January and February. So what will happen is I'll probably try and have a bit of a break over the next week or so. It's been a very hectic year. And then obviously I'll go travelling in early January for a month or so. So what I was thinking is, while I'm travelling, it's really hard to find the time when you're travelling around. If you're just filming flight reviews, you've got a lot more time. If your purpose of travel is just to film a flight review, you can edit it, at the hotel or whatnot after the flight, But when you're actually travelling around to travel and enjoy the travel, enjoy the destination, and you want to do a walking tour and you want to do a hiking tour and you want to go plane spotting at the airport and all that, you simply don't have time to edit things on the go, So what I was thinking is, if I release some hotel reviews in the meantime over that 3 or 4 weeks, well, it's going to be hard to get a flight review. I think that would be a really good way to go. I could do it twice weekly or something like that. They'll be short and sweet reviews, maybe less than 10 minutes in duration. Yeah. Not sure if it's what the base of the channel will want to see or whatnot, but yeah, I can just post them initially as I usually do, and if the wider audience are not so much interested in it, then I might just post them, but not notify the subscribers. That way it just gets found by a more general audience. So people who want to enjoy it can, people who are not so interested, don't get disturbed. So yeah, I think it's definitely something I'm going to do in 2025. So watch this space. Are you interested in a low-fee, simple channel membership or Patreon page for the channel? Something I've been looking at doing for a long time. I just want to be realistic about it, but I don't want to make it kind of harder to manage than what it's worth per se. So I think if I was to introduce a Patreon or channel membership or something, I'd just make it really, really simple, like a supporter club for the channel per se, So whether it's just chipping in $5 a month and you get your recognition on the videos or something like that. Simple structure, not going to have like all these different ridiculous tiers of levels and all that sort of stuff, because I'm just a small channel at the end of the day, I don't want no one not being able to enjoy the content, and I don't want there to be any barrier to that. But yeah, if people want to chip in, you know, a couple dollars a month or whatnot, I think there's definitely opportunities to do Patreon or channel memberships or something like that. Yeah, I just got to look into it a little bit more. Sure, I could offer some relatively minor benefits from it. So yeah, watch this space in 2025. Are you interested in joining the Aussie JetSetter Discord server to discuss all things aviation and channels? So yeah, it's only a very small server, the Discord server I got going earlier in the year. But yeah, people do enjoy talking stuff there. It's it is structured, but it's somewhat informal as well. So definitely keen for more people to join, and then yeah, you can just discuss your passion of aviation and channel. There's different servers there for different themes of content as well. So it's not just people talking random things in random servers. So yeah, definitely encourage more people to join it. And then yeah, it's also a good opportunity to be informed of new videos and that sort of stuff that are coming up. So yeah, do consider joining that Discord server. I do link it in the description to all my videos. Are you interested in the revitalisation of my other YouTube channel? So this is Aussie JetSetter Extra. Used to be called Aussie JetSetter Shorts, and obviously 4K Perth Aviation. Yeah, kind of always had reasonably big plans for these channels, but as always, it's just time consuming, you know, to keep uploading to them. I think probably why Aussie JetSetter Shorts kind of doesn't really get uploaded to now. It's really just easier to upload things as Instagram Reels, you know, because I've got audience on Instagram and Aussie JetSetter Shorts. The problem is I didn't want to put shorts on my main channel. I think it will clog up the main channel. Thanks so much for tuning in, Alila, Aussie Airline fan. Much appreciated, mate. No dramas being late whatsoever. Very impromptu tonight. Yeah, the problem with having a separate shorts channel is I can't actually link, you know, my shorts preview to the main video. So, yeah, there's not. I don't think there's a huge amount of point of just having a dedicated shorts channel. So that's why I renamed it Aussie JetSetter Extra. So I think it would just be like a channel where I can just put kind of extra content on, you know. It could be short form content. Yeah, it could just be shorter videos as well. I film a really cool video while I'm on holiday of whatever that's going on, and yeah, it might not be suitable for the main channel, you know. Maybe a unique that happens, and yeah, that's where extra channel is good. It's just a second channel for the channel. So I think that would be good going forward in 2025. And yeah, 4K Perth Aviation, definitely want to get this kick-started in 2025. Basically, it would just be posting the shorter form takeoff and landing of the longer form plane spotting videos that I do. So definitely potential for that as well in 2025. Just got to get into kind of a habit of properly doing the thumbnails and properly doing the titles and all that sort of stuff. That's just what's so time consuming on YouTube is thumbnails and titles. Actually takes a lot of time, especially for a flight review, you know. You got to do the thumbnail, I do it on Canva, and then you got to do the keywords, the tags, sorry, and you got to write a description, and you're always thinking the description, the title is all going to have to be search friendly and all that sort of stuff. So it is quite time consuming. But yeah, hopefully kickstart that again in 2025. Are you keen on more train, bus and ferry reviews in Australia between destinations that are reached by alternative means and flight? So that means getting more trains, buses, ferries around Australia, not necessarily always flying. Looks like most people are keen for that idea. I think it's a good idea. You know, you can always fly between Melbourne and Sydney, but, you know, get the train for a change, or maybe even do a overnight bus review or something between Adelaide and Melbourne. Just gives a bit more variety of the channel, because you just don't want to do, you know, 10 Jetstar A320 flights, you know, between capital cities. It all gets a bit repetitive after a while, you know. So I think the variety is good. Train reviews, bus reviews, flight reviews and ferry reviews. So I think that's what I'll keep doing in 2025. Are you interested in more talking head videos? By talking head, I mean basically I just pick a topical discussion. Like I was going to do a video on the whole collapse of Bonza. Actually put quite a lot of effort into it, and the problem is the events with the whole collapse of Bonza, it all happened so quickly and the situation was very, very fluid. So I kind of found in the end it was hard to keep up with the details of what was happening. So I might eventually publish a video and then the information would be out of date. But yeah, that's an example of a talking head video. I could discuss the collapse of Bonza or another airline that might happen in the future, or Rex or whatnot. I could talk about frequent flyer points. Could talk about, you know, for example, Luke Chris recently put out a video today or yesterday, I think, talking about his experience dealing with Qantas, you know, when they cancelled his flight and how he had to get reimbursed for accommodation and that sort of stuff. That's a talking heads video, talking about my travel experiences, you know, talking about a particular country, talking about my Sri Lanka trip last year and the particular details of what it's like to travel around Sri Lanka, saying like that. So yeah, it seems like you guys are keen for it. I'm definitely keen for it as well. I've travelled to nearly 50 countries in the world, probably about 45 UN recognised countries, and then yeah, a couple extras as well that are a little bit more, I guess, up for debate as to their status. But for all intents and purposes, 45 to 50 countries. So plenty of experience to talk about. Just wish I had the channel 5 years, 7 years back. I just have so much more content from so many more continents. Are you interested in seeing more content filmed on my new Insta-X 360 X4 camera? So I bought this on the Black Friday sales. It's about $150 off, and when I buy a camera or anything like that, always make sure I buy it just before I go overseas. That way I can get a tax tourist refund on it if it's obviously under $900. So that's exactly what I did. Got a really good deal on it, and yeah, I'll just show you what it's like. So yeah, this bad boy here, it basically films in 360 degrees. So I recently got a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 earlier in the year, and that's absolutely revolutionised the way I do my filming because the gimbal's all built in. But this bad boy does 360 degree video. So it's got two lenses, front and back, and it basically stitches it up so it's 360 degree frame, and then you can just reframe the footage later in the app. So, you know, if I'm filming a flight review, I could be filming forward, I could be filming back towards me, to the side, whatnot, to the roof, to the ground. It would just get so many more angles. And if you see some of the flight review channels out there, Flight Formula and that sort of stuff, they're taking advantage of the invisible selfie stick effect. Because there's basically a stitch line between the two lenses. It means if you use a compatible selfie stick, you actually get the fake selfie stick effect, so you don't actually see the selfie stick. So that's really, really cool, and you can actually do fake drone shots and all that sort of stuff. So that's really, really cool. Basically got it to just more as a replacement for my GoPro, which is getting a bit old now. The good thing about these are that you can just film like in normal action camera mode as well. So you can just choose front or back lens and film in 4K. I think it's 4K 60, so it's not quite as impressive as GoPro, but I think it'll be okay for many applications. Probably still use a GoPro for dash cam footage and all that sort of stuff, doing driving tours. But lots of potential for this. To be honest with you, compared to the DJI, the image quality is, it's not bad, but especially when you reframe it, even though it's 8K 30 frames per second, you actually ain't that good compared to DJI. Like that DJI Pocket 3 is phenomenal, especially in low light conditions. Like when I filmed the Perth Christmas lights walking tour earlier in the month, the results were absolutely magnificent. So yeah, definitely going to use this in the future, and you guys are keen to see it. But I'll show you what the Pocket 3 is like. It's basically a gimbal camera. Very, very cool. I'm filming on my phone gimbal at the moment, and what I find with that is it's quite cumbersome to use, and then obviously you can't really use your phone while you're going, you know, if you want to get directions or something. So much easier to use this. It's smaller, it's more discreet as well. I've got a big iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's hard to balance on the phone gimbal as well. So there's still use for the phone gimbal if you want to be taking photography and maybe you're doing a live stream or something. Maybe you're doing filming that requires a telephoto lens. But yeah, this bad boy is absolutely phenomenal. Basically going to use it for anything with that, anything now, as long as it's not rainy. It's obviously not waterproof, but you know, obviously I'm not going to use it in maybe a hiking video or something where I could get damaged if I fall over or something. But the day-to-day filming, flight reviews, walking tours, this is the go-to thing. Would you like to see AussieJetSetter.com rebooted to provide proper written blog content which complements my video channel? So basically, I think I started the website before I started the YouTube channel. So basically, really started the whole Aussie JetSetter thing more as a blog. I was writing quite in detailed guides on the website, frequent flyer hacks, talking about points. I was even doing a weekly list of specials with airfares and that I was putting every week, you know. And then I was writing in-depth reviews of my flights per se. And yeah, now, these days, now that I'm a lot more involved in the channel, I seem to have a lot less time for that. So basically I was just using the website, you know, as a second shop front, you know, a virtual directory, where people can easily navigate to the videos on my channel. And obviously when I put a flight review or a train review or something out, I can do a quick summary of it and embed a link to the video. So that's what I've been doing. But I think when the channel matures a little bit more, that will probably mean I'm probably producing less content, but possibly, you know, higher quality content as a result. So maybe not as frequent. So I think in that case, I really do want to get in the habit of actually writing a proper written review for my flights. That way you get extra from it, you know. You can see extra photos and all that sort of stuff and extra context to the flight review. So I think that's really good. They'll naturally, the channel will help the website and the website will help the channel. So that's what I want to do. And obviously it'd be great to write actual blog content covering my travels around the place as well. So destination guides, all that sort of stuff. So that's what I used to do on the channel. Ideally, if I can integrate it with AdSense, that would be fantastic. So I get AdSense, continue to get AdSense on YouTube, and then obviously get AdSense on my website. That would be really fantastic. That's probably a longer term project. Are you interested in plane spotting live streams? Are you interested in plane spotting live streams? Looks like 77.8% are, so that's really good. Definitely want to do it. I just find just requires quite a lot of effort, like especially if I'm going to use my DSLR. and I probably would need to buy some sort of more high-end tripod. So definitely want to do something in the future. You can just stream straight out of your phone. I think I've got the microphone situation sorted now, so at least that would be improved. But you can't use the telephoto lens when streaming off your phone. And then if you do zoom in, you're really losing that quality. So streaming off your phone is not that good, but something to look into the future for sure. Definitely keen to do it. Coming up to the end of the survey now. Any special trip or other requests for the year ahead? Perth to Joburg on the South African A340. That's an absolute cracker. Like that and Air Mauritius are the two most interesting flights that come into Perth, in my opinion. The A340, it could be the only A340 that flies in and out of Australia regularly, in my opinion. So that'd be absolute cracker to do one day. Very keen to travel to South Africa and probably Namibia as well. Thanks very much for tuning in, Aussie Airline fan. Sorry you got to go, but yeah, it is Christmas Eve, so totally understand. Merry Christmas for tomorrow. But yeah, feel free to watch the rest of the stream once it finishes up. But yeah, Perth to Joburg, that would be fantastic. That's obviously the flight I would do if I'm going over to South Africa, so definitely want to do it in the next few years. Couldn't agree more. Perth to Guangzhou. I've actually been to Guangzhou before, long time ago. I did go over the border from Hong Kong. Also went to Macau, so that was a really cool trip. I think they are a pretty cheap way to fly to Europe as well, so may very well be travelling on them in the future for economical reasons anyway. So you never know, that might get featured. Perth to Mauritius, Air Mauritius, absolutely. A330 900 Neo, that's a pretty new aircraft, I believe. Not sure if there's too many flying to Australia. I think Malaysia Airlines might have started flights recently, but I think they've been grounded only after a few flights. So they already got technical issues with that aircraft that was delivered. But yeah, that would be a really cool one to do. Perth to Ho Chi Minh with Vietnam Airlines, that would be fantastic as well. I think Vietjet also fly from Perth, so great to see competition on the Vietnam routes now from Perth. For a while, Perth actually lacked out on Vietnam flights, so definitely want to do an in-depth trip around Vietnam for 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm sure I'll get one of those flights to get there. And Perth to Dubai, yeah, absolutely do want to go to Dubai. I only travelled through Dubai before through the airport, but I actually do want to visit the city and the country of the UAE. It's just really unfortunate the taxes seems to be more expensive to fly to Dubai than all the way to Europe with Emirates, it seems. Obviously they've got to get their tax back some way if they don't charge income tax, so obviously they charge it on flights in and out of the country. Seattle, Washington, yeah. Seattle's a fantastic city, the Pacific Northwest. I've been there before. Stayed with a mate there for a couple nights. Finished up a big trip around America in Seattle, so that was really cool. Yeah, definitely go to Seattle again, go to Oregon, that would be really fantastic. Bit of a road trip in the Pacific Northwest. Obviously go over to Vancouver again, that would be really cool. So yeah, definitely would feature that on the channel hopefully soon again. Singapore Airlines, Perth to Singapore, absolutely. Just it's quite astonishing I haven't done a Singapore Airlines review actually on the channel. So yeah, that's definitely a priority in the next year or two. Just haven't found cheap airfare with them for the times I wanted to travel this year, but yeah, it's got to be done sooner or later because I've done many Perth to Singapore flight reviews now and definitely want to review a different airline on that. I've flown Singapore Airlines before, but not for the channel. Come to Taronga Airport in New Zealand for a live stream or Auckland? Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I'm in New Zealand again, do like doing plane spotting specials if I'm visiting a destination and it's easy enough to get to the airport. Obviously, if you don't have access to a car, it's a little bit harder at some destinations. But yeah, if it's easily accessible, then then for sure. If you're able to fly to Hawaii and either explore Oahu and the other islands as well. Yeah, absolutely. If I get this Hawaii trip underway, I think that would be fantastic. Get some island hopping going. Maybe review a Hawaiian Airlines 717 or something for nostalgia's sake between the islands. That would be really cool. And Bhutan. I think I know who might have suggested this one of my friends. Very, very interesting destination, Bhutan. I think the only problem is they've increased the tax, the daily visitor fee even more. It was saving outlandish, like 100 US a day or saying. Now it's like 200 US or saying a day. So make it a bit more affordable, and it's definitely a place I want to visit. Just going to put the lights on as it's starting to get dark now. It's about 7:38 here in Perth. It's actually 44 degrees yesterday, so it's absolute scorcher of a day. It's much cooler today, but got only up to about 30. Maybe it's 23, 24 now. So very pleasant Christmas Eve indeed, as you can hear the Christmas carols just behind us, the local neighbourhood Christmas carols. So that's really cool. Let me get some lights on because we can, light is fading quickly. Apologies about that. I should have been a little bit more prepared before the stream went started. But yeah, we've been going over an hour now, so thanks so much for sticking with us. But yeah, we're getting to the end of the survey now. What was a memorable moment from your channel this year? All Perth-based videos? Oh, that's good to know. Some of that local content is still resonating with the people. That's really good. Definitely got plenty more plans for Perth content actually next year. There's still plenty more to do. Want to do a Rottnest Island ferry review. Obviously want to do a cycling tour around Rottnest. That would be really cool. Film some content on Rottnest. Definitely more potential for walking tours as well. Want to refilm a Fremantle walking tour. Did do one when I just started the channel, but yeah, it didn't get much traction. But now I've got much better equipment. Really think I could film a good Fremantle sunset walking tour, something like that. That would be fantastic. Do some more walking tours in the beachside areas of Perth, around the Swan River, all that sort of stuff. Go up into the Perth Hills. That's where I can get my drone out, get some magnificent scenic stuff there, scenic drives. So yeah, plenty of stuff still to come around from Perth in 2025. Everything, well, yeah, can't complain about that. If you're happy with everything, then I'm certainly happy to hear. Jetstar Perth to Singapore. Oh, hi MJ, thanks very much for tuning in, mate. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Very, very hectic year this year, so it's good to finally be slowing down a little bit on Christmas Eve, enjoying this live stream with you guys. But yeah, Jetstar Perth to Singapore. Yeah, that was a really great flight. It's probably my most successful flight review of the year, actually. Got nearly 11,000 views, and yeah, a few things actually worked against me with that flight review, considering I really didn't have a window and it was a night flight. There wasn't actually much to film once the flight got underway, and there wasn't really much fanfare as well. So really glad I was still able to make that a really good video for you guys that resonated. Scoot Perth to Singapore. Yeah, no, that was a interesting experience. Not a type of product I really thought I would fly, but yeah, it was just the nature when I was flying and the price that it was a bit of a no-brainer for the situation. So that was a good experience. Maybe I didn't do the best thumbnail or something for it. It's a little bit slower than some of the other videos to take off, but that's all good, all trial and error. walking tour of Wellington. I think that might have been the year before, but yeah, that's still another evergreen walking tour, that one. I think it's the second best walking tour I've done. The Sydney walking tour I did this year, that's going to be probably my first video to reach 20,000 views. It's about 19.5 at the moment, so that was absolute cracker of a walking tour, that one. I did it absolutely running on fumes, actually. That had been a very busy day. I'd filmed the Rex business class flight review from Melbourne to Sydney. Then I did this huge plane spotting special out at Sydney Airport, and then I did a walking tour around Sydney at twilight. So I was absolutely exhausted doing it, but somehow I pulled it off and it turned out to be a cracker, so that's fantastic. Jetstar's first flight from Singapore to Broome. That was very, very memorable flight. Definitely preferred that inaugural flight than the Perth to Singapore one. Obviously it was a daytime flight. There was definitely a bit more fanfare to it as well. We got the water cannon salute on arrival to Broome. It was actually my first time visiting Broome, so that was just such an exciting day, and the flight from Singapore was fantastic. So yeah, that was very, very memorable. And yeah, the Norfolk Island review. Yeah, the Norfolk Island, absolutely could not recommend visiting it anymore. It was just fantastic. Got to fly business class on Qantas there, and flying to Norfolk Island, you leave from the international terminal, so it's a somewhat international flight, somewhat domestic. You go through passport control, but they kind of wave you through with your driver's license. It's a very interesting flight. You can still buy your duty free, and it's a tax-free island, and you have border force on arrival. It's just a very unique destination. It was technically outside the Australian migration zone until only a handful of years back. So it's kind of like you're flying over international waters to get there, and then its own external territory. So it's a very unique destination. And yeah, the Norfolk Island made for an amazing walking tour as well. It's just one of the most unique places in the world, probably. Such a unique culture there as well. It's quite distinctly different to the mainland for sure. And yeah, obviously the Air Chatham's flight review to Auckland. Flying in New Zealand on a turboprop, what more can you say? That's a pretty cool experience. Could you do Sydney to Townsville Alliance Airlines business class? I would assume that's on the Embraer E190 if I remember correctly. I did fly Melbourne to Townsville a couple years back on the Embraer for Qantas Link, which I think was technically operated by Alliance. That was a really good flight. But yeah, I think it's a 1-2 business class, so that would be really cool to try. So yeah, you never know. And the A220 Sydney to Hobart, well, don't have any immediate plans to do the A220 Sydney to Hobart, but I am flying the A220 in January from Launceston to Melbourne. So be rest assured, our A220 flight review is definitely coming up on the channel next year. So very, very excited for that. Late to the game, but better late than never. Is there any videos you think should have performed better than they actually did? No, nil. You're doing a great job already. That's all pretty good feedback. Maybe walking around Normia. Well, that walking tour has just racked up 10,000 views, and that was one of the first walking tours I ever did, probably about 2 years ago now. So I personally think that's done really well. Maybe I can redo the thumbnail and the title, the description on that, professionalise it a little bit more. Maybe I'll get some more views on it. So definitely worth looking at that. Thanks for your feedback. The Jetstar Sydney to Sunshine Coast, uploaded in May 2024. Yeah, I think that probably got about 1,500 views or something like that. Don't personally see Jetstar A320 short little domestic flights. They're probably not going to be the most viral of sort of videos, so I think it did okay for what it was. But yeah, I think that flight did have some significance as I was going up to get my first ever Bonza flight. That was up to Darwin, so I did do a bit of a impromptu tribute to Bonza in that flight review actually. So yeah, it is what it is. I think that video's still getting a few views, so you never know. But yeah, the Qantas flight for $99. Yeah, no, I guess that could have performed better. Maybe the rambling on about the Rex voluntary administration situation for 6 or 7 minutes at the start, maybe people switched off after that. Maybe it was a night flight and a little bit harder to film. But yeah, no, it's still got 2,500 views or something. So yeah, I just keep improving on the videos. And yeah, what was your favourite type of content on the channel? 77.8% of the respondents said flight reviews, so not overly surprised. Flight reviews are the most popular content on the channel, at least according to this survey. Then a small amount of people said plane spotting, and a small amount of people said walking tours. So yeah, good to see there's varied interest in the content on the channel. So yeah, really got no worries continuing all the content streams I have on the channel in 2025. Yeah, obviously the flight reviews and the walking tours are kind of like the flagship content. They're the stuff that the majority of the audience watch. But yeah, I think all other content as well, it still appeals to an audience, so that's really good. So yeah, got no plans to stop any of that anytime soon. And the last question was basically just putting it out there. If anyone wanted to provide any feedback, what could be improved in 2025? One person said there's very little to improve on as your reviews are very detailed, informative and interesting to watch. So thanks for that. That's obviously very good to hear. Someone else said, I think you're doing an amazing job. Keep it up. So no, that's good to hear. Thank you. Keep up the great work. No, thank you once again. Personally love how you upload the takeoff and landing footage on their own video alongside the actual trip report. Yeah, no, I think I'll definitely continue doing that as well. Yeah, some people just like to enjoy the pure aviation of the moment, you know, so absolutely I'll keep doing that. It's amazing how popular some of those videos actually are. The Colombo Sri Lankan Airlines takeoff video got like 7,000 views or something, so absolutely I'll continue doing that for the aviation airline fans out there. Improvements that you have that would you presented more on camera, so present more on camera to give the audience a more recognizable presence. Yep, no, I think yeah, I definitely got to build on building that own personality per se. That's what people like about the videos, I guess. Some sections can be a bit long and repetitive. No, that's a perfectly valid critique there. I do tend to repeat things occasionally, do tend to get carried away waffling on. So yeah, absolutely look at that as well. And yeah, no, the comment there about losing audience engagement could very well be true. Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely keep that in mind going forward. Definitely try and make the videos more streamlined, more straight to the point. Cut the extra jargon out per se. If applicable, improve plane spotting setup. Yep, no, that's definitely a good idea as well. So definitely things to consider. Alrighty, so yeah, I think I had 29. I think I had 29 questions, and yeah, the fact that 9 people responded pretty well to all the questions is, I'm really happy with that. So that's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I know it's Christmas Eve, so thank you so much for your time. I think I'll probably wrap things up may well do another live stream again before the year's out, maybe early into the new year, just to discuss the future of the channel more generally. But yeah, I think tonight's been a really great opportunity to respond to what's being put out in the Google form survey and ask your own questions, all that sort of stuff that I've put out there. So hopefully, yeah, I've answered your questions and in the process given you a really good idea, a little bit what I'm thinking about for the channel as well in 2025. But for now, as we wrap up a very successful 2024, let me just see if I can find the email that gives us the statistics for this year. Actually, I'll just go YouTube Studio, actually. I'll give you a quick rundown of the statistics for the year before we head off. So I first got monetized about, I think it was around about October last year. So that's when I got 1,000 subscribers. Now I've got 2,883 as of right this moment. So basically that is a huge increase. Basically got nearly doubled the growth of the channel this year alone. So the channel is really going places. So really happy about that. But yeah, in the last year, basically I've got 376,303 views on the channel. So that's really amazing. Had some of the best weeks ever yet this year when I got over 10,000 views a week. I've been averaging 1,000 views every day on the channel this year, so that's really fantastic. Lots of older content still getting views as well, so that's really good. Let's have a look at watch time. So this year I've got 27,885.9 hours of watch time. So I think that's quite a lot considering you only need 4,000 hours to get monetized on YouTube. So that's a lot. And in the lifetime I've had 41,549 hours of watch time. So definitely think that's a lot. And yeah, in the lifetime, the channel's had 578,649 views. So I think next year, realistically, I'm really going to be pushing to try and achieve 1 million views on the channel, maybe by this time next year. So I think that's really a realistic target. So it'd be really amazing to see. And yeah, maybe I can rack up another 1,000 or 2 subscribers. Yeah, you never know. Maybe I've got 4,000 next year. You never know. We'll just see where we go, and that's really cool. So yeah, let's get those figures about subscribers. So in the last 365 days, I've had 1,470 subscribers. So yeah, that's really good growth on last year. So much appreciated. So yeah, we'll wrap things up now, but once again, I think this pretty well brings a wrap to the year on the Aussie JetSetter YouTube channel. Probably come back with more videos out on the channel in the first week of January. If I get the calendar up now, that probably means the next video will be up about possibly around about the 5th of January, so give myself a week or a week and a half off now, and yeah, we'll get videos coming back online in early January. But for now, it is Christmas Eve, so very Merry Christmas once again. Have a fantastic day tomorrow, whatever you're doing. If you are working, thank you so much for your service to the country and the economy, whatever that may be. And yeah, of course, on Boxing Day as well. I know I'll be working, and yeah, very happy and prosperous 2025 new year ahead. But for now, let's call things a night. Merry Christmas, and until my next video, thanks so much for watching. Thanks everyone for filling in the survey. Feel free to continue adding to the survey as well. I'll keep it online indefinitely. Maybe I can do another stream down the track. But for now, thanks so much for watching, and safe travels where that might take you.